Hello and welcome back. I hope you are having a great start to the new year. Jenny and I went to our favorite Goodwill, and the first thing that I spied were a whole bunch of these trinket boxes, and I probably would have gotten them, but there were a lot of them, and that made me a little suspicious, which seems silly. Lucy says hi and Happy New Year. They were in good condition, but I don't know. It just seemed strange to me that there were so many of them. I don't know. I'm not sure. Then I spied this brass box, and I really liked the design on it. It had a retro kind of 20s, 30s look to it, and the inside was in very good condition, so I decided to take that with me. There was a set of these amber glass wine glasses, or I don't know the names of my glasses, but they had a lot of wear to the gold design on them, and so I did leave those there. And then there was this trinket box, and it had a really neat inlay design to it, but it did have a crack on the bottom, which that's fine. But then I noticed that it didn't really close. See how there's a gap there? And I didn't really like that. And it looked like it used to have a key, so I left that. This mirror weighs 475 pounds. I might have been exaggerating. This is the maker's mark on it. It was heavy though. It was neat. I did like it. And then there were these 3 individual brown teapots, and I did look at the one on the right, and it did have a mark of Japan on it. So I'm going to assume that all of them were most likely made in Japan, but I did leave those there. And then Jenny found something. She's like, pick your nose. And then I realized that they were drinking glasses. They're from 2007. And then this is called a buttocks basket or an egg basket. And I really like the looks of it, the styling of it. So I decided to take that with us. It's gonna be a glassy baby. Oh, no. This is joy. Darn. I'm just gonna put it out there into the universe that 2022, I am going to find a glassy baby. This was vintage, obviously. It probably hung by a fireplace, but I decided to leave that there. And Jenny's pointing out that Hershey thing has been there for a while. We used to use these on the beach for sand, and they just jump right out. For some reason, when I saw this Scotland mug, I thought it might have been restaurant ware, but it was by itself. There weren't any saucers or plates or anything. Here's a blurry shot of the wood section. Sorry about that. The 3 little ducklings are still there. I have not rescued them yet. Here is a little brass area. We have a little thing made in India. And then this little brass teapot was missing its lid. And they were bringing out new bins, and I lifted up a sign, and underneath the sign were all of these giraffes. And these that I'm picking up in the beginning, they kind of reminded me of Dollar General or Five Below store. So I did not take those. And then I spied this little guy, and it looked like Artisanal Rinconada. It is not, but I thought it was adorable. And then I was looking for something else. There has to be another one, but they all kind of had resin look to them. And then I spied this little one, but I was like, no. And then there was a little wooden shelf sitter. And I was, no. But later, I do find a wooden one. But after I come back to the cart. This was a ginormous bowl. This bowl was huge. I'm showing my hand so you could see. It was huge. This was a cute little plaque. But this bowl, that is a statement piece. There is no way I would ship that. But isn't that pretty, though? I really like that. And this was on the end cap. This is a paperweight made of lucite, and it has a dandelion inside it. I thought that was very, very sweet. I've never seen anything like this before. It's in really great shape. So I decided to take that. And then here was a little frame with a little clown. Thought that was sweet. This is the blue section here. And then I think this was probably for fairy gardens. And a little platter there. And looking back now at the footage, this is probably my should've. I thought this was neat, but looking back again, it's really neat because it has a plant on it. And I know a lot of people like plants. So if it's still there, maybe I'll pick it up. I think that's nice. And here was a very shiny green apple. I think it was more contemporary. Here's a little look at the shelves. Here were a whole bunch of false craft mugs. This is in the Rio pattern. Those look nice. I like the look of them. Nice solid mugs. Here's a Mackenzie sign. Then this is a purple tumbler, like juice tumbler, but there was just one. I like the color of it, but there was just one. Suddenly it got really bright. I don't know what happened there. Here was a candle holder. And this ashtray was heavy. Very, very heavy. And then someone had put a little bit of fabric on the back of it. And that was the green section. Those are like what you used to play with at AC Moore, right?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Those are expensive.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm more like the detail because look on
it. Flip it. Flip the price tag.
Oh, okay.
Only $1.99. Yeah. You want it?
Yes, because...
Okay.
Come on.
It's a dragon. It's a dragon. This is brand new. I think that's really pretty. So we were going to get the puzzle for $2.99. Make a pizza pillow.
That just made me hungry.
Giraffe. This one is wooden and carved. And I like it. We're wrapping up our trip here, and I found these corks that with Hawaiian ladies on them. They seemed more contemporary. Yeah, that's funny. The more coffee I drink, the more awesome I am. It's funny. For the biggest coffee lovers only, half gallon of coffee. That's funny. Plate of pizza. Are you hungry yet?
Yes, I'm hungry.
This piece has been here for a while, and I noticed the last time I was in that it did have a signature on it, but I didn't take the time to look it up. I did take the time to look up that signature today, and I decided to take it with me. Then in the back here were some party lights of owls, and I thought that they might be glass because when I shook the box, it sounded like glass, and Jenny was like, no, those are plastic. She was right. They're very glittery, though. Here is a cart update. Like this, because it has this drawer here, right? And it has all the things for your treasures. But then, like, the centerpiece. And then these side pieces. That'd be neat if you had, like, an antique booth. And you could display things on it. I thought that was neat. It's really worn, though. Noritake progression. So you have a creamer. Nope, this is the creamer. We have a platter underneath there. Okay. I spied the holder to this bowl after I had bought the bowl. So I brought the bowl in shopping today to make sure that it fit into the holder, and it does fit. I'm so excited. And that ends our trip to the Goodwill with Jenny and myself. I hope you enjoyed it. Here is a better look at what the bowl looks like inside the holder. The holder is quadruple plated. It does have a dent and it's a little wonky, but I still think it's beautiful. On the last video, I showed a picture that someone had drawn of a lady in a Volkswagen, and that got quite a few comments about how you had a Volkswagen or you knew someone who had a Volkswagen. And I thought this would be a good excuse to introduce my husband, who had a Volkswagen of his own, and he could tell some stories of his. So without further ado, here is my husband. This is my husband, Jim. I call him Jimmy. Say hi.
Hi there, YouTube.
You had a Volkswagen before we met?
I did. I had one when I was 17 or 18. It was my first car. It was a 1970. We got it from a family friend. It was modified, which was good and bad.
Does that mean it had a souped-up engine?
Yeah, I could. I think it was a 4-speed, maybe. But I could lay rubber, per se, in I think the first 2 gears at least, maybe the third. But it wasn't fast by today's standards, but back in that time it was. So I believe it was dark green, not the original color, and I thought it was neat. You know, it was your first car, and I thought it'd be neat to paint it like how I wanted it, and so I painted it like black with like Rust-Oleum spray cans.
Where?
In a contained garage, which I wasn't very smart, but I was 17 or 18 at the time, so what do you expect? But yeah, it was like all like kind of like matte gray, kind of almost. I think I was looking for like an Amish theme at the time, and
like your own buggy.
Yeah, my own little buggy, and I did like the car, but I remember it had some issues as far as like the lug nuts on the tires, on one of the tires or a couple of tires, they wouldn't stay tight. Oh. Yeah, so. So I remember one time when I was at a friend's house and I was like transporting their like 9-year-old son to get ice cream or something like that. I remember like after I took him home, I had to like get away from the house, and then so no one would see me because it was unsafe. I had to like, you know, crank down the lug nuts on the tire
to keep the tire on.
Yes, it was a typical. It was a different era, but I did like the car, and I was big into Volkswagens for some reason. I took a liking to them. Not that I was that mechanical or I did much fixing on them, the engines and all that, but then I had, I think I had a 70 first, and then I had a 74, and then I had a 72, or it could have been, I know the 70 was first, but it could have been 72 or 74. And then...
Is that what we had?
Yes, and then when we got married, that's we had the red.
The red one.
I'll say it was a 74, it could have been the 72. And of course, you know, we were out, you know, pre-wedding night, you know, maybe a week or so before when it snowed, because we had a lot of snow for our wedding in January.
A lot of snow.
Yeah, a lot of snow. And so we were out, you know, doing donuts and stuff you do when you're young.
And I mentioned this in one of the comments that someone said they didn't have any heat, and so we didn't have any defrosters. Did not work.
No, nothing worked.
So, you know, we were smart, so we would get Bic lighters, and he would have me hold the Bic lighters up to the window. To
kind of give us a window of sight so we could actually see where we were going.
Yeah.
But
we drove that in all that snow.
We did. Our car. Yeah, I think Volkswagen Bugs and maybe Carbon Gears or something were known for, you know, because the engine was in the back and that's where the weight was. That they weren't that bad in snow, but if it was a lot of snow, obviously they weren't four-wheel drive. So, but they were a lot of fun, and I thought about, you know, now that I'm older, of getting one, but. You know, they're just harder and harder to find.
There is someone around here that has one, because I do see it in town.
Right.
But they are hard. And then we had a newer one.
Right, so when the new ones came out, I want to say 98.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the first year. I kind of think it was. I remember we put money down on like a red one with a certain spec, you know, like I think a 6-speed manual and like a 6-disc CD changer in the trunk.
Which was... really high tech.
Right, at the time, yeah, right, was a big deal. And it just took forever to come in because they were very popular, because they finally brought them back. And of course, the engine was in the front because they were modern. And I remember, and so does Dagny, that, you know, we were waiting for ours, and it just seemed to be taking forever. And the car dealer salesman that we were working with was nearby where I worked at the time. And I noticed they had a white one with the Herbie, the Love Bug decals on it. And so I called him and I said, you know, is that new, and is it available? And is it similar spec to the one that we were waiting for? And he said yes to all those answers. And I said, can I just get that one instead? And he said, it's available, sure. So what we ordered, a red one, we ended up with a white one with Herbie, the Love Bug decals on it.
And for two people who do not like to bring attention to themselves.
Right. We had a lot of people at that time because the Volkswagen Beetle was back. And
the new Herbie movie had come out too,
right,
a little bit before that.
Right,
yeah.
and so we were driving just like to the grocery store, and people would be thumbs upping us.
Remember, we had a little kid follow us out.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
a little kid follow us to the car one time,
and we kind of like to be inconspicuous and not draw attention to ourselves. And that was like the worst part of it.
It was the worst part.
So, but it was fun while we had it. We didn't have it for long. I think we had it for maybe a year or two, and then it was time to move on to something more appropriate. We kind of got caught up in the new Beetle, thing that was going on. But yeah, it was fun. But I've always liked Volkswagens.
We hope you enjoyed this little look back on Volkswagens, right?
Yes.
And coming up soon in the month, you will hear how we met.
Which is a very interesting story.
The love story of the ages.
Of the Alaska last frontier.
Right.
So.
Thank you for watching. I think these are hilarious. Pick your nose. Because you're picking your cup, which happens to have a nose on it. And here are the different noses that you can have. Now, not all of them are here. It says 24, and I think there's about 19 or 18. But still hilarious. I don't know if we're going to sell them or use them. Here is the pottery cup. It cleaned up very nicely. Show you the other side here. It kind of has an 80s vibe to it. Inside there still shows a little bit of wear, but it does show previous use. And there are some tiny little chip, like a little chip right there, but nothing like a deal breaker or anything like that. And there is the mark on the bottom. She is an artist out of Michigan. Here is the tin. Mine does not have the mark. The other ones that I found online had the mark on the hinge here, and mine does not, but it looks exactly like the other ones. So I think it is, but it doesn't have the stamp, so I'm not 100% sure. Here is the wooden giraffe. Very nicely done. I really like the eye details. This is not Artesania Rinconada, but it is out of Peru. If you hear any snoring, that is Indy. She's taking her pre-bed nap. Isn't that so sweet? I haven't done any research on these. This is a dandelion encased in lucite. And when I got the price tag off, it looks like they took a greeting card, because you can see the other side of the greeting card through the front of it. And it says, from Carrie, not Carrie Bradshaw, but Carrie Rashaw, maybe. And here it looks like where the card used to say. So I thought that was very neat. I hadn't seen anything like that. There's not a huge amount of scratches to it. It's in good vintage shape. Here are the lights. They are plastic. Jenny was right. And I did open them up. They were sealed, so I don't think anyone had ever used them. But I did open them up to test them, and they do work. There is a lot of glitter. And I did end up getting the puzzle as well. And then the final thing I got was this buttocks or egg basket. I think it looks really nice, especially with Easter coming up soon. Someone might like this look in their decor. I don't know where it was made. It's not marked, but still a nice basket. And you did not see me pick this up. I picked this up yesterday, and it is a nice little tea light. It's frosted glass. It's more contemporary, but I like the looks of it. Susie and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see ya.